He would meditate, and then he would read from the Granth. It wasn't yet Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib, but was the Holy Granth written by his father, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Then he would dress in full martial gear. He would dress in full swords and armament and damala and decorated turban and armor. And he would come out and greet the Sangat and go over to the Harmandir Sahib and listen to the Asa Divar. Then at the end of the Asa Divar, he would talk to the Sangat and he would address the Sangat. Then he'd go and rest for an hour, and then he'd go and do his warfare and practice and hunting and the things that he loved to do. At the end of the day, they would all meet for langar on the parikrama in front of the Akal Takht. And after langar, then he would sit and hear the problems of the people. So if somebody had something wrong or they had some argument with somebody, that's where they would bring it, was to the Akal Takht. And you've all been there, that there's an open space right in front of the Akal Takht. That's right where it was. And he would sit on the Akal Takht, which to begin with, it was just a platform. It wasn't this big building we have right now. It was just it was a platform. And he would sit on that and address the needs of the people. And they say that he ended his day by going to his mother and putting his forehead on her feet. And that's how he ended his day. At the end of every day, he ended it like that. So the Sikhs became, from being very, very sad at losing their Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they were filled with the spirit, filled with the joy of life, filled with the strength. And a nation was formed during that time. But of course, it wasn't long before Jahangir, the emperor in Delhi, heard that the Sikhs again were filled with lots of life. And there was people who told Jahangir that Guru Hargobind Sahib called himself the King of Kings, the Sache Patashah. And so Jahangir called Guru Hargobind to Delhi. This was only 5 years after the death of Guru Arjan Dev. You can only imagine what his mother felt to receive that call. And the Sikhs again were filled with fear that they would lose their Guru once again. But there was no fear in Guru Hargobind. And he told his people, never mind. I'm happy to go. Let me go talk to this man. And so he went to Delhi. When he first got to Delhi, he camped on the banks of the river Jamna. And the Sikhs all came to him from Delhi, crying because they had been there when Guru Arjan Dev was martyred on the hot plate. And still, that was only 5 years. So their pain was very fresh. And he comforted everyone and told them not to worry and not to fear. And he went to go and meet with the Emperor Jahangir. Now Guru Hargobind was very beautiful. He was tall, he was strong, he had a personality that attracted everyone. And so it was impossible to be with him and not be drawn to the beauty of the man. We still have some artifacts that are his chola. And it's so big. He's like 7 feet tall. Or that's what it seems like. I mean, when you see his chola, he must be that tall to wear a garment that big.
The sleeves went about 10 inches past my arm.
You hear this? The sleeves went 10 inches past his arm. This was a giant of a man and very beautiful in appearance. So when Jahangir met him, he was drawn to him in that way. So the first thing they did was go out hunting. Now when we say the Gurus went hunting, he went hunting with the emperor, You know, we're talking about medieval India. They weren't deer hunting. They weren't shooting Bambi. They weren't shooting rabbits. They were shooting tigers. They were shooting lions. And these lions and tigers were animals that actually terrorized the villages. And so this is what they went out to hunt. So he went hunting with the emperor. And so Jahangir, of course, when he goes, he's got all of his followers and all of his hunters, his gunmen that went with him, and his swordsmen that went with him. And so they all go out together and they're hunting. And they beat the bushes so that the lions will come out. And so the lion comes out in a charge towards the emperor. But the emperor takes aim, and his matchlock did not fire. And the animal is still charging. And all of the emperor's huntsmen run. Because we're talking about a lion here. It's a vicious animal that is going to kill this emperor. And so all of the huntsmen run away in fear. Guru Hargobind stepped in between the lion and the emperor, caught the lion on his shield, and cut him in half with his sword, saving the life of the emperor. Just like that. No fear. And the emperor was very impressed, to say the least. And so he started having very good relations with Guru Hargobind. And they had long talks. And he really respected him. But unfortunately, this emperor was not to be trusted. Don't forget, this is the same emperor that martyred Guru Arjan Dev. And there was this man named Chandu. Chandu was a local money changer, money lender. And he had a daughter. Doesn't it always come back to some kind of marriage thing? He had a daughter that he wanted to marry Guru Hargobind. And this goes even back to the problem, he had proposed this to Guru Arjan Dev as well, and had a hand in the martyrdom of Guru Arjan Dev. And so he said to Guru Hargobind, he says to him, I had your father killed, and I want you to marry my daughter. I'll do the same to you. And Guru Hargobind would not accept that type of talk or that type of behavior, and especially that type of blackmail. And so Chandu had the ear of Emperor Jahangir, and so as he saw that Guru Hargobind was becoming trusted by the emperor, he started to do mischief. And so one day the emperor fell ill. He became very ill. And Jahangir bribed the astrologer to give the emperor some false advice. And so the advice that he bribed the astrologer to say was that the only way the emperor would get better is if he jailed a very holy man. And of course, the holiest man he knew was Guru Hargobind. Now, it was very common in those days to jail the princes. In fact, that's how, because don't forget, we're not talking about a just emperor of the people. We're talking about an occupational army that had taken over India. And so how they controlled the